Lastly is Zapier. So I thought this particularly interesting because as a big no-code advocate and a big automator, I'm thinking, how can I use this in other places, in automations? And Zapier is one of the native connections. So to show you or to walk through what I have here, I actually want to go back to my Zaps. So go back to CrewAI. And so what I've done here is I can trigger a new crew directly from my email. So you want to set up a trigger. The trigger could be, I don't know, the trigger can be a new form submission. A trigger can be anything. Here it's an email where I am emailing to Zapier what the topic is. So in the subject line, if we go to configure, this is the email address that I have for my Zapier. And in the subject line, let's see. If we go down to my test one, in the subject line has to have the topic that I want to use. So it actually, this automation actually ignores everything else, and it just takes the topic in the subject line and uses that to kick off a crew. And what we actually have here is our crew connected. So all you have to do is configure, especially if you're logged into Crew already, just connect Crew to Zapier. And what you can do is the action event we want to kick off. Obviously, you want to connect your crew account here. And you can see I have selected my crew, which is my first crew. And the topic is from this first trigger, and it is the subject. So whatever's in the subject line is going to be used for the topic. Now, I don't actually need this third part because this third part doesn't actually do a whole lot other than say, hey, this is successful. But it sends an email. And I have the result here, but this is not the actual output result because the output result takes maybe 30 seconds, maybe a little bit longer than 30 seconds. So what we can do actually here from the kickoff, we can give the token ID, I pass the result. Basically, we can pass whatever we want to Gmail and send the email. But you do need this next part, and this next part is important. So I have another one. If I go to Zaps, CrewAI 2, and you can see the trigger is actually the output of that first crew. So it says new execution raw output. So the trigger event is the output. Obviously, I configure my first crew, which is the crew I want to use. And you can test it, so you can pull records. Like, you basically use these to map in future steps. So right here, when I go to send email, I go to configure. Obviously, I typed my email address. But in the subject line, I just put the topic from the first one. But in the body, I put the execution output. So we can see here, what we actually want is the execution output. So you can see the execution output here. I showed you what that looked like in the Crew Enterprise platform. And this is the result I would get. So if I show you, so this is the result I get. So you kind of need those two crews or those two Zaps. That is a very quick walkthrough on using CrewAI locally, on using their enterprise cloud version, and also using it within Zapier. If you have any questions, please let me know, and happy hacking.